Anti-Semitism is not a real phenomenon within the Labour Party or any of the other major political parties. There are anti-Semitic incidents, but they are usually related to Israel's behavior, to Israeli brutality. So every time there is an Israeli attack on Gaza, and there have been 3 in the last 7 years, there is a spike in anti-Semitic episodes and incidents in Britain. But I think that fundamentally Israel, the Israeli propaganda machine, and Israel's friends in England, and the Israel lobby in Britain, deliberately confuse or conflate, and I stress they do it deliberately, anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism is nothing to do with Jews. The Jews are a people, they live not just in Israel but everywhere. Anti-Semitism is hatred of the Jews as Jews, wherever they might be. Anti-Zionism is opposition to Israel as a colonial power and as an exclusive Jewish state. And therefore, it's perfectly possible to be anti-Zionist without in any way being anti-Semitic. But these two phenomena are being confused deliberately in order to silence legitimate criticisms of Israeli policies. In the last year, there's been a lot of discussion in the media about anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. But the evidence for that just doesn't exist. There are 2 very insignificant episodes, a stupid comment made by the former mayor of London, by Ken Livingstone, and there was another Labour MP who put a map on her website for which she apologized, which could be interpreted as anti-Semitic but wasn't. That was the evidence. And behind this brouhaha was an alliance between disgruntled right-wing Blairites and pro-Israeli activists to discredit and destabilize the leadership of Jeremy Corbyn. Because Jeremy Corbyn is the only leader of a major British political party who has always had a principled position in defense of Palestinian rights. And he's also always been outspoken in his criticism of Israel. And his critics tried to tar him with a brush of anti-Semitism, but they failed, because he's been in public life for 33 years. They must have gone with a fine-tooth comb through all his speeches, and they couldn't come up with a single anti-Semitic comment. So they resorted to the propaganda trick of guilt by association. They said, well, Jeremy Corbyn has hobnobbed with anti-Semites and Holocaust deniers. So there was never any evidence of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, but the whole purpose of the exercise is to intimidate people, to bully people, to terrify people so that they would not criticize Israeli policies and Israeli oppression of the Palestinians.
And didn't they succeed?
Sadly, to a very large extent, this effort has succeeded, and even Jeremy Corbyn was driven to appoint an inquiry under Shami Chakrabarti to look into the question of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, and her conclusion was that there is no endemic anti-Semitism in the party. But and the Holocaust is often dragged into this debate, and again, some people, some propagandists, use the Holocaust for political purposes in order to inhibit and in order criticisms of Israel, and in order to engage in character assassination of critics of Israel. This is what Norman Finkelstein meant by calling his book The Holocaust Industry. He was not talking about the Holocaust and its significance, he was only talking about the political misuses of the Holocaust to promote the Zionist agenda.